looking back on a busy election day for Dane County's poll workers and what led to some long lines.
Plus, on the federal level, Democrats avoid a red wave, but the House and Senate are still up for grabs.
And later, the Badgers head into Iowa this weekend to renew their rivalry with the Hawkeyes. The keys to success coming up in the Badger Blueprint. It's all ahead on News 3 Now at 10. And thanks for joining us tonight, 24 hours after the election, and we are still following several major developments.
Mandela Barnes today conceding to Senator Ron Johnson, and we're also hearing from Governor Evers after his win over Tim Michels.
And we'll have a closer look at all things election in just a few minutes. But first, we have an alert day in our forecast tomorrow for some potentially strong storms. Let's go right to Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti with our certified most accurate forecast. Gary?
Yeah, this nice weather is really going to come crashing to an end by late tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening. Let's start out with the good news first. Look at the time lapse from the WISC-TV Skycam. Some clouds this morning. We had sunshine come in for this afternoon, and temperatures were unseasonably mild. What a beautiful sunset we had there. Take a look at the high temperatures today here in Madison. 69, only 4 degrees from a record high, but it was in the middle 70s out to the west. Even near Lake Michigan, temperatures were well into the 60s. Current temperatures still at 10 o'clock are in the middle 60s on the 9th of November. Almost unbelievable. But after we look at these nice temperatures across Dane County, 63 in Perry, 65 degrees in Mount Horeb, 64 in Sun Prairie. Showers and thunderstorms are getting going in the northern part of the Midwest. They'll stay to our north tonight, but tomorrow as a cold front moves eastward, there's the potential for some severe weather, a slight risk or level 2 risk west of Dane County, and a marginal or level 1 risk for Dane County. So we have an alert day in the forecast, high winds, small hail, perhaps an isolated tornado possibility late tomorrow afternoon into early tomorrow evening. It's just a short window of time that we'll expect the severe weather threat. But tonight, partly cloudy and unseasonably mild. Our low temperature at 59 degrees. By Friday, temperatures will be about 40 degrees colder. I'll tell you what the outlook is after that in just a few minutes.
Gary, thank you. Turning to our campaign coverage now, here are the latest numbers in the race for U.S. Senate. Not all of the votes are in yet, but today, Mandela Barnes officially conceded the race to Senator Ron Johnson. Barnes addressed his supporters at Sherman Phoenix Marketplace in Milwaukee, the same location where he launched his U.S. Senate campaign.
This is not the time for us to tune out. It's the time for us to double down. It's the time for us to show up like we've never shown up before, to make sure that Ron Johnson, every political leader, knows that they answer to every person in Wisconsin, not just the people that voted for him.
Despite the loss, Barnes promised to keep fighting for the people who supported him. So far today, Senator Johnson has not made any public comments.
The other big race on the ballot, of course, for governor, and this one called very early this morning. But unlike that race for Senate, the Democrat in the governor's race came out on top. And Governor Evers winning a second term as governor. And during his stop today in Madison at O'Keefe Middle School, he was asked about ballot splitting in Wisconsin, where not everyone voted only Republican or Democrat.
I've been trying to wrap my arms around that there are people in the state of Wisconsin that voted for me and voted for Ron Johnson. But at the end of the day, I also know that there are issues that transcend politics. And I'm representative of and leader of a great state, a resilient state, and I take the input from people that voted for me and those that didn't vote for me equally important.
Republican challenger Tim Michels around 12:30 this morning says he called Governor Evers to concede the race, and he told supporters he doesn't know what he would have done differently, but thanked them for all of their support. And Democrat Josh Kaul will join the governor with a second term serving as Wisconsin's Attorney General, a 2-point win over Republican challenger Eric Toney. Kaul celebrating his victory with a speech outside the Capitol this morning where he spoke about the importance of unity moving forward. You can hear his comments at channel3000.com.
Without formal exit polls, it is tough to know for sure how much college students influenced the results overnight, but there's speculation they possibly swung the race for governor. Students we spoke with today credit two things as big motivators. First, student groups and campaigns, both pushing students to register to vote and learn about the issues. The second, having a personal stake in the issues that took center stage, including Roe v. Wade.
Reproductive rights and everything was a bigger portion of why I was voting.
They're problems that could have a really big impact on us later in our lives, and I think people are sort of realizing how imminent some things are.
Students also say the level of engagement on campus this midterm election was similar to what they would see during a presidential election. They don't expect that trend to drop off.
Election officials in the town of Middleton today saying the hours-long wait to vote at Town Hall yesterday was due to an unprecedented number of in-person voters. Several people actually waited hours for their chance to vote, with lines extending outside of the building. In accordance with state law, everyone in line to vote by 8 p.m. was allowed to vote. Some people were still waiting in that line at 10 p.m. Dane County election officials say after poll workers went into the election with some safety concerns about disruptive poll watchers, the biggest issue they ended up facing was a big voter turnout.
Arman Rahman shows us how things played out at the polls.
Yeah, guys, just like Town of Middleton's unprecedented turnout, the story was similar in other parts of Dane County. I spoke to Fitchburg's city clerk over the phone today, who said most of their long lines were due to hundreds registering to vote on Election Day. County officials say overall the atmosphere was positive.
People were really engaged in their democracy and wanting to protect it, both the poll workers and the voters.
That's what Dane County Clerk Scott McDonald says looking back on Election Day.
There was a lot of positive energy that way all day throughout the county yesterday.
There wasn't just a lot of positive energy, there were a lot of voters. In some parts of Dane County, turnout was higher than 85%.
The polling places were busy. There were some lines, longer and shorter ones.
In the town of Middleton, those lines were as long as 2 hours as poll workers processed 294 voters per hour. McDonald says that town and other communities may need to split polling into 2 locations.
In a lower turnout election, you can kind of get away with doing it in one place. But when you have a November election, you can't have 6,000 voters in one location. It just doesn't work well. Really, 3,500 is kind of the max.
Looking at some of the competitive races on the ballot, some poll workers requested active shooter and de-escalation training for potential safety threats. But on the day of, McDonald says everything went smooth.
We had worries about what might happen. There might be people being disruptive in the polling location, but overall things went really well.
There was a strong effort to have more partisan poll workers observing the elections.
What that allows is people to learn how much security is involved, how the election is actually run, because there's a lot of misinformation out there.
McDonald hopes this shows people thinking about volunteering in the future that the process is secure and safe.
This democracy needs you to volunteer and help protect it. It's hard for people to be rude and aggressive to their neighbors. So when you're there, it makes a big difference.
And County Clerk McDonald says the day after Election Day was just as busy. They're now getting ready to have votes canvassed, certify the results, and plan for any potential recounts.
Thank you, Arman. If you would like to read up on all things campaign 2022, including results, just head over to channel3000.com for more in-depth reporting. And coming up in a few minutes, we'll take a look at how yesterday's election will play a role in the national scale when it comes to who is in control of the House of Representatives.
Next tonight, a fun evening for a local senior living and memory care community. Vista West, just off Gammon Road, hosting its first ever resident gallery night. On display, homemade artwork from the residents there, including quilts, jewelry, paintings, pottery, and much more. People we spoke with say it's a great way for residents to bond on a deeper level.
This is sort of a representation of the talents of some of the residents here. Most of us have not seen what our fellow residents do, and this is really one of the first chances that we've had.
This is really an eye-opening thing today to see the talent that is in this building.
Yeah, staff members at Vista West say the event was a success and say it's a great way for residents to express their feelings and emotions when they say some are not able to do so with words. And still ahead tonight, an update on tomorrow's weather alert day.
Plus, it's Wednesday, and that means it is Badger Blueprint Night. The team's keys to success against Iowa coming up.
What you see is important. How you see is important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see.
Enjoy great savings this month and get 33% off a complete pair of glasses. The upcoming holidays are hectic enough without having to worry about appliances breaking down. Family-owned Brothers Maine is having a Veterans Day sale featuring kitchen and laundry deals on GE appliances. The lowest prices guaranteed. Feel like family. Brothers Maine.
To everyone who craves a fresh meal, come have a taste of Wisconsin.
America's Dairyland, as in real dairy.
It gives Culver's fresh frozen custard its famous rich and creamy flavor.
Like really rich.
So rich.
Rich and creamy.
And our cook-to-order Butterburgers?
They're topped with, you guessed it,
Wisconsin cheese.
But it's the smiles we put on your face with every meal made just for you.
It really makes our hearts melt.
From Wisconsin with love.
Welcome to Delicious.
Nice.
So with a Planet Fitness Black Card, I'll get a post-workout glow like that guy?
Everybody knows that you need to glow, you need to glow, to glow, to grow.
And I get a free Amazon Halo to track my fitness and sleep.
Cause when you got the glow, there is no stopping what you want to do. Oh.
And I can bring a friend.
It's the way of life.
Okay, sign me up.
Get the PF Black Card for zero enrollment, $24.99 a month, and get a free Amazon Halo View. Ends November 15th. It's glow time.
Thousands stranded on 9/11, a small town in Newfoundland that opened their homes. The Broadway musical, Come From Away.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see.
Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
On the Jennifer Hudson Show, we're having fun throwing it back.
I had a penciled in mustache like Ice Cube. I was feeling it.
And Tamara Maury Housley is here. Then we spotlight an incredible singer.
On the next Jennifer Hudson Show at 3. You're watching News 3 Now at 10.
Welcome back. Meta, Facebook's parent company, announcing plans to lay off 11,000 of its workers. That is the largest job cut in the company's history. Last month, Meta posted its second quarterly revenue decline and said its profit is about 50% of what it was last year. In 2021, Meta was worth more than $1 trillion. Now it's worth around $250 billion.
National campaign coverage now. CBS News describing the battle for the House of Representatives as leans Republican, while the Senate is a toss-up. President Biden argued today that it was one of the best midterms in decades as Democrats avoided a red wave partially due to mixed results by candidates backed by former President Donald Trump.
I don't think we're going to break the fever for the super mega MAGA Republicans. But I think they're a minority of the Republican Party.
Well, it's still unclear exactly how Congress will look. The president said he's prepared to work with Republican colleagues. CBS News estimates the Arizona race in the Senate is leaning Democratic, and Nevada's race is a toss-up where the mail-in vote there in Nevada is still coming in. In Wisconsin's 1st Congressional District, Representative Brian Stile won re-election.
Our political reporter Will Keneally caught up with him today to talk about the future of Congress.
So we're looking at the possibility of a Republican majority in the House of Representatives next year. We caught up with Brian Stile to see what his priorities will be for next year.
Top two things. We got to get inflation under control. We got to bring down prices for families that are struggling. We got to unleash American energy. We got to stop reckless spending. We got to help people who still find themselves on the sidelines get back into the workforce. And two, we got to make our communities safe again. We've seen crime spiking in some of our biggest cities, including Madison and Milwaukee. Now's the time to stand with the men and women of law enforcement.
We also asked him who he thought the next speaker should be.
I think Kevin McCarthy is going to make a great speaker, and I think he's going to do a fantastic job moving this country forward.
And they're still counting votes, so we don't quite know yet who will be in the House majority next year. Reporting from Madison, Will Keneally, News 3 Now.
And again, for extensive reporting on the election, the results, reaction from candidates, and what comes next, you can check it all out on channel3000.com.
Well, next tonight, check it out. Mammoth Mountain in California is under 60 inches of fresh snow after an early season storm delivered one of the biggest November snow totals on record in the Eastern Sierra. For reference, this is already the snowiest November of the last 10 years at Mammoth, and it is only, of course, November 9th. And down in Florida, the state is bracing for impact from Hurricane Nicole, which is expected to make landfall during the overnight hours. Rains have already flooded some neighborhoods in Dania Beach, Fort Lauderdale as well. Schools in several counties are closed, along with some airports and theme parks, Disney World included, at least until Nicole moves on out. Former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago club and home is in one of the evacuation zones, but it's unclear if the property was evacuated.
And here's Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti, who is keeping a track of what's going on in Florida.
Yeah, you know, both of those stories are actually good news. I mean, the rain is welcome from the hurricane.
Snow out there is
and
great.
The snow out west. That builds up the snowpack and hopefully will contribute to higher river levels as we head into next year and start filling up the reservoirs. But right now, hurricane warnings in effect for the east coast of Florida from just north of Miami to around St. Augustine. Tropical storm warnings pretty much for the rest of Florida into southern Georgia and into the South Carolina coast. Right now, maximum sustained winds with Nicole, 75 miles an hour with gusts to 90 miles per hour. Moving to the west-northwest at 13 miles per hour. Should probably make landfall somewhere south of Melbourne within the next couple of hours. Forecast from the National Hurricane Center weakens it into a tropical storm as it moves over central Florida, but still has fairly strong winds. But you can see the big rain shield extending up into Georgia and eventually the Carolinas and up the east coast. Now, as we look at our weather, we have an alert day in the forecast for tomorrow for a cold front that could trigger some strong to severe thunderstorms mid to late afternoon and early evening. High winds, small hail, perhaps an isolated tornado a possibility, with the greatest threat for areas west of Madison. On Doppler track tonight, some showers and thunderstorms up in northern Wisconsin, and you can see farther out to the west that starts changing to snow in the Dakotas, where the backside of this storm could have a winter storm. So the severe weather threat tomorrow, highest out to the west of Madison, a level 2 or slight risk of severe thunderstorms west of Portage and Platteville, level 1 or marginal risk for isolated severe thunderstorms in Madison and Dane County and areas a little bit to the east. Highest threat from wind, again, farther out to the west. Tornado threat pretty small, 2% chance within 25 miles of a point in this area. That's about the size of Dane County, so pretty low threat, but can't rule out an isolated tornado. Rainfall could see somewhere from a ½ inch to an inch of rain, especially in some of the heavier thunderstorms, but those will move through pretty quickly, and by the time the precipitation comes in, those could even be mixing with flakes of snow here. Farther to the north and west, a different story. Already blizzard warnings in effect for parts of North Dakota. Winter storm warnings for eastern North Dakota and northwestern Minnesota. They could be looking at somewhere in the neighborhood of 1 to 2 feet of snow through central portions of North Dakota, and just south of that area, freezing rain, perhaps up to a ½ inch of ice accumulation, almost an ice storm situation over South Dakota and northern Minnesota. Look at the difference in high temperatures today. 69 Madison, 14 in Glasgow, Montana. When you see a big temperature contrast like that, you know the atmosphere is primed for a storm. Tomorrow's high 72. That would break the record high of 67 set back in 2010. Strong southerly winds and then showers and thunderstorms late in the afternoon. Planning your day for tomorrow. 69 Fitchburg, 68 Waunakee, 72 for a high in Middleton, and 67 in Prairie du Chien, up to 73 in Janesville and 71 in Watertown. Future track. Tomorrow morning, mainly dry, some clouds moving in, showers and thunderstorms developing early to mid-afternoon. Again, 3:30, Madison's at 72, but look at the temperature drop farther out to the west as that cold front comes through. The severe weather threat ends with the passage of the cold front, but watch what happens to temperatures as we go beyond midnight. Go from 48 down into the 30s, and there could be some flakes of snow on the back end of the precipitation before it comes to an end. Rainfall amounts probably somewhere around a ½ to 3/4 of an inch, maybe locally higher than an inch in some spots. But after the cold front comes through, we drop into the upper 30s on Friday and stay there for the rest of next week. At least there's not much in the way of storm systems. A couple of flurries Tuesday and Wednesday and maybe Friday night. Otherwise, it'll just be dry and cold.
All right, Gary, thank you. And just ahead in sports, the Iowa defense plays a physical brand of football, while the Badgers say that's just how they like it. Zach and Jim Polzine break down the battle for the Bull. The Badger Blueprint is next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
With Pick and Save delivery, It's easy to get your special holiday foods brought right to your door. And that's music to your ears. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
In a recent clinical study,
patients using Salonpas patch reported reductions in pain severity,
using less or a lot less oral pain medicines,
and improved quality of life. That's why we recommend Salonpas. It's good medicine.
Creating family memories is what Maple Leaf Landscaping is all about. We design and build outdoor spaces that bring people together. Landscaped spaces for any size family. Functional, beautiful, a place everyone will enjoy. And it all starts with a free visit at your home by one of our landscape experts. So call Maple Leaf Landscaping today and have us create an outdoor living space for your home.
DePaco Credit Union members are better together because together members share thank yous, a DePaco-only perk that thanks members in cash. And because you're not just a member, you're also an owner, everyone benefits. How will this year's nearly $3.7 million in thank yous benefit you and your community? Since 2016, DePaco members have shared nearly $24.4 million. We truly are better together. Join the movement where your member ownership pays. Visit your nearest DePaco branch or join online at depaco.com.
Keep bragging about your buck after the hunt with wild game processing from Johnson's Sausage Shop in Ryle, Wisconsin. Friends enjoy a hunting story more over a jalapeno cheddar stick. Johnson's Sausage Shop accepts wild game 7 days a week. First bucks in are the first brats out.
I became an orthopedic surgeon for a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
For a lot of reasons.
To help you take walks again. To ease your pain.
To rebuild your strength.
And at every step along the way,
we take the time to answer all your questions.
We're here because we care.
We care about you. You.
You.
They care about me.
Sauk Prairie Healthcare Orthopedics, now offering robotic-assisted knee replacement. Keep your holidays in sync with free pickup on all your fresh favorites from Pick and Save. Pick and Save, fresh for everyone.
I don't care if it's 1,000 degrees or 2 degrees. I love it. You know, any chance I get to strap the helmet up and rep the W, I love it.
It was a wet and windy Saturday at Camp Randall, but thanks to Wisconsin's run game, the Badgers ran over the Terps, and they did it knowing they'd have to do it. The weather dictated a heavy dose of the ground and pound game, but the offensive line delivered their best performance of the season, allowing Braylon Allen and Isaac Arendo to each rush for over 100 yards and score a touchdown.
Just looking at the weather, you know, we were just preparing for it, so we knew it was going to be a run-the-ball type of day. So, you know, appreciate the O-line for sure, you know, blocking their butts off today.
Just fun to watch the aggression those guys played with up front. The backs just pounding it in there. Not always going to be pretty, right? You know you're going to run into some heavy boxes, but just everyone just grinding it out.
Season high 278 rushing yards on a day where you couldn't really throw the ball. But, Jim, how about Garendo's game? He wasn't in there just to give Allen a blow.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for stories like Isaac Arendo, a guy who's in his 5th year in the program, has dealt with a ton of adversity, injuries, finally getting a chance to show what he can be. You know, he arrived here as a wide receiver, a sprinter in high school, good combination of size and speed, and finally getting a chance to see who the real Isaac Arendo is.
Speaking of guys who provided a boost on the defensive side of the ball, Hunter Wohler returned for the field for the first time since breaking his fibula against Illinois State, and he looked like he's been playing all season. Wohler finished with 3 tackles and a pick, and after watching for 8 weeks, it was good to be back.
It's been a journey for sure.
it's been long, but you know the time has come that you get to get back and play, and I'm so grateful for that.
You know, first came back, he was out there making hits all over the field, tackles. You know, Hunter's a great player, and anytime you get a guy like Hunter back, I mean, it's nothing but beneficial for you.
The three-safety look with him, Torchio, and Latu worked out well against Maryland, and he's a guy that showed why he was #1 on the depth chart when the season started.
Yeah, I think a lot of people, myself included, probably underestimated what losing Hunter Wohler so early in the season meant. I mean, this is a defense with a difference maker at defensive line with Keanu Benton, a difference maker in the second level with Nick Herbig, and was really missing a difference maker in the back end. And Hunter Wohler provides that. When he's 100%, as we saw Saturday against Maryland, he can be a guy that makes a lot of plays.
This Saturday starts a big-time 3-game stretch for Wisconsin. They close out the regular season with 3 games against rival programs, which means each week there will be a trophy up for grabs. In recent history, the Badgers have kept the trophies in Madison, winning 25 of their last 29 rivalry games. And you don't have to remind this group what these next 3 weeks mean for the program.
And that's why you play college football. It's those big games where, you know, something's on the line. You know, there's big rivalry between 2 teams, so it kind of revs things up a little bit.
We know how big these trophy games are for this program, for this state, for this fan base. So it's our job to, even the younger guys, let them know what these trophy games are about and how important they are, because it's your legacy.
And still to come on the Badger Blueprint, the battle for the bowl is up for grabs in Iowa City, where Wisconsin says they can't wait to face one of the country's best defenses. That's next.
Welcome to Dwellings.
Shop our fabulous showroom, Hard Rock Road, Fitchburg.
The Internet of Things is evolving, creating the Internet of You. And Spectrum, America's leading internet and mobile provider, is bringing you seamless connectivity across all your devices. Introducing Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet with speeds of 300 megabits, advanced Wi-Fi, and Spectrum Mobile Unlimited, all for just $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999. Spectrum Internet delivers speeds up to a gig with over 99.9% network reliability. Advanced Wi-Fi provides enhanced security and privacy that automatically blocks threats to protect all of your devices. And Spectrum Mobile gives you unlimited talk, text, and data with nationwide 5G and the most reliable service coast to coast. Switch now. Call 833-673-4999. At Spectrum, it's not just about connecting things, it's about connecting you. Get it all with Spectrum One, Spectrum Internet, advanced Wi-Fi, and one line of Spectrum Mobile Unlimited for $49.99 a month. Call 833-673-4999 or visit a Spectrum store today.
Save 11% on items you need at Menards. Power your electronic devices with Energizer Max batteries. Pick up a 24-pack of AA or AAA batteries for just $14.99 after 11% off. Attract a wide variety of birds to your yard with Enchanted Garden Bird Food. We carry a great selection of high-quality blends to ensure only the best for your backyard friends. Get 11% off all Enchanted Garden Bird Food now at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Here's to the guy with the tree in his kitchen who can't talk right now because his elderly neighbor needs help. Here's to the generator in the middle of the street with extension cords running to 4 different houses. Here's to the countless acts of kindness that helped the Midwest recover from one of the worst storms in recorded history. You've given a whole new meaning to the term silver lining. The worst brings out our best.
We didn't forget about the crumbs at the bottom of the bag. We're just prolonging our time with every last bit of crispy, juicy tender.
Enjoy the crispy chicken sandwich and pair it with medium fries and a $1 any size Diet Dr. Pepper.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Planning a remodel? Don't toss your cabinets, furniture, and appliances. Donate to Habitat Restore. Your items stay out of landfills while proceeds create housing solutions for hardworking families. Build a stronger community with Habitat Restore of Dane County.
Welcome to Dwellings.
Shop our fabulous showroom, Hard Rock Road, Fitchburg.
Wake up with News 3 Now this morning, weekdays starting at 4:30.
Physical. That's how the Wisconsin offense described the Iowa defense this week. And they're not wrong. The Hawkeyes are giving up just 14 points per game while holding their opponents to under 100 yards rushing. Two things they've been doing for years. And the Badgers know they're going to have to out-physical them if they want to have success.
They've had the same defense for, I think, 100 years. I think it's been the same. You know, so, like, both teams know, like, what to expect going to the game.
We're ranked one of the top in the country in defense, so it's definitely going to be a big challenge for us. But we play kind of the same style of football that they like to play, just hard-nosed and tough, so I'm excited for this week.
If you're a Badger tight end, fullback, or offensive line, this is your time to shine. It's all about being physical and playing smash-mouth football against this type of defense, Jim.
Yeah, Iowa runs a different scheme than Wisconsin, but they both are similar in the regard that they play fundamentally sound, make the other opponent beat you, and make the other offense work hard for yards and points. And the difference with Iowa maybe is they've got some really good playmakers in the secondary that can kind of change the flow of the game.
Offensively, Iowa has struggled. Statistically, they're not just the worst in the Big Ten, but we're talking about bottom 3 in the entire FBS. They've struggled to run the ball and passing. Well, some games they would have been better just punting it on first down. But they're on a 2-game win streak, and Jim Leonard sees a unit that's playing with some confidence.
I think they've accepted who they are and how they have to win, and they're playing with a lot of confidence and finding ways to move the football, you know, finding ways to get some points on the board, and it starts with the run game up front. You know, we have to win the line of scrimmage against these guys.
The Badgers have beaten the Hawkeyes 8 of the last 10 meetings. Jim, do they keep the bull for another year?
I think Wisconsin wins this one. I think for both these teams, the key is just not making mistakes, not making turnovers, and the cleanest team will probably win this game. I say Wisconsin 14, Iowa 10.
Against good defenses, well, average defenses, Iowa struggles. Wisconsin, good defense, they'll shut them down. Badgers win by 11. And that's it for this week's Badger Blueprint. Thanks for watching.
Probably better weather than last weekend for football.
It'll be cold, though. That's the problem. Right now, we've got temperatures that are still in the mid-60s to around 70, even at 10 o'clock across Dane County. 64 right now in McFarland, 66 in Cross Plains. Look for a high tomorrow of 72. That would break a record. Showers and storms late in the day. And again, that alert day for tomorrow afternoon, tomorrow evening for the potential for severe weather.
And Gary will keep a close eye on it for us. Thanks for joining us at 10.
Do something good, and we'll see you back here tomorrow.